I want to take a moment to discuss the event that almost wasn't, and that is the Garden Mall shooting yesterday in New Jersey. Now, I know a lot of us saw the story unfolding. We witnessed the initial reports that all turned out to be, the usual standard fare that turned out to not be true. The guy wearing body armor and walking around with an assault rifle shooting people. None of that turned out to be true. It turned out to be an unfortunate young man who has a history of mental illness and drug abuse confirmed and mental illness suspected, who went there to end his own life in a very dramatic way. Now, that is a very sad event, which is just another example of some of the ills we face in today's society. These people that have mental illnesses, they have drug abuse issues, they're so marginalized by society, they're so disenfranchised, they're pretty much abandoned by society. They just get to the point where they feel like they just have no other option other than to end their own lives. And that's really one of the things that we should be fighting for nowadays, is to end that problem. That's one of the bigger lessons to take from this event here. It's not be afraid of guns or people with guns. It's pay more attention to the people around us that need help. But that's really not even the issue I want to talk about tonight. The issue I want to talk about is something that bothered me even more. As I sat and I watched the coverage of the event, and I saw all these people that were running like cattle from the building, screaming and crying. I was watching them embrace in the parking lot in tears and having almost emotional breakdowns over what they perceived was happening to them. That's what I want to talk about. It's this victim mentality that people seem to have nowadays. It's this victim mentality that turned this mall full of people into nothing but a mall full of victims. It was just a huge assemblage of people that had no way to defend themselves. So when they were faced with even a perceived danger, now none of these people were actually victimized by the shooter, they were just victimized by their own mindset. When they even had a perceived danger, their only option was to flee in terror, screaming and crying. And once they were outside and they were in perceived safety, the emotional toll on them was so great because they had been taught to be victims. They had no way to fight back, and when they knew they had no way to fight back, the only thing they had to do was flee in terror. And that takes a huge emotional toll on people. And like I said, these people were not victimized by the shooter. They were victimized by their own mindset. He didn't try to harm anyone. He had every opportunity to harm others, and he didn't. It was pretty clear he went there for one thing, and that was to publicly end his own life. And that's a sad thing. But like I say, I don't think it's as sad as the fact of how these people reacted to it and the options that they had once they were confronted with this perceived threat. So I know this is just kind of a self-indulgent rant, but I just keep wondering, when are people going to wake up? When are they going to say, I don't want to be that person that has no option other than to run screaming and crying. I want to be someone that can defend myself and take care of myself. When are people going to wake up and say that? When are they going to stop saying, well, I should just count other people to not victimize me? They don't have a right to victimize me. Well, no, a criminal never has a right to victimize you, but it happens. So when are you going to start saying, since I know it happens, I have an obligation to myself and my family to be able to handle it if it does happen? I'm not saying that just having a gun is going to be able to solve every problem when you're confronted with danger, but it does really open up your options. And when you're in that situation, when it's your life on the line, when it's your child's life on the line, don't you want to have options?